Susan Storm, also known as the Invisible Woman or simply Sue, is one of the first Marvel heroes created along with her family, the Fantastic Four. She made her debut in Marvel Comics in Fantastic Four #1, published in August 1961. At the time, her alias was Invisible Girl, which was later changed to Invisible Woman. The older sister of Johnny Storm and love interest of Reed Richards, Susan was initially portrayed as a damsel in distress who would be kidnapped by villains constantly. She really was a token female team member, but over the years that began to change. Her importance grew, and her role slowly started to no longer be reduced to her gender. In more recent comics, Sue has evolved far beyond her early role. As the emotional center and strategic brain of the Fantastic Four, she has repeatedly stepped up as the team's de facto leader. Her growth as a character has been marked by an increase in both her personal agency and the extension of her superpowers. This process happened throughout decades, overruns overseen by many different writers and artists, which influenced shifts in her portrayal. In series like the most recent Jonathan Hickman's Fantastic Four run and Mark Waid's 2019 run of Invisible Woman, her leadership skills and overall growth are unmistakable. More recently, Ryan North's run of Fantastic Four has confirmed that Sue is in fact the current leader. There's a scene where the team is stuck in traffic, and Ben asks a question to the boss. That would have been Reed in early Fantastic Four comics, but Ben is actually addressing Sue. Although she has replaced Reed when he was not around many times before, her full-time leadership is truly recognized now. For casual fans, it may come as a surprise to learn that Susan's superhero alias isn't really an accurate description of her abilities. Not fully. Her power is not simply becoming invisible. The Invisible Woman can do so much more. After being struck by cosmic rays along with the rest of the group during space travel, Susan developed powers of light manipulation. Her ability to control light is so strong that she can even create solid light constructs and force fields. Sue can bend all wavelengths of light, including visible, infrared, and ultraviolet. That allows her to become invisible, or to turn other people and objects invisible. She has turned objects as large as entire planets invisible for extended periods and manipulated light over a great distance. She once bent sunlight away from an entire region for days, causing an extinction-level event in Fantastic Four, Volume 7. Number 6, June 2023. Her power also allows her to disrupt light-based illusions, change the color of objects, induce temporary blindness by rendering retinas invisible, make objects transparent layer by layer, manipulate electromagnetic energy to evade or activate sensors, and simulate visual effects like burns. Her skin is also immune to sunburns, blocking the UV rays. That extends to manipulating her own body. Sue's own retinas can see light differently than other people. She can perceive her own invisible force fields and other invisible objects. She can project solid, invisible force fields from psionic energy. These can take various shapes, like walls and domes, and vary in size from microscopic to gigantic. Then, she is able to fully control the movements of these light-based creations. The actual strength of her force fields depends on her mental focus and ability to maintain a visualization of her construct. With these light constructs, Sue can essentially fly. She levitates standing on top of them or traveling inside bubble-shaped fields. She can generate multiple fields simultaneously, vary their rigidity from soft and shock-absorbing to steel-hard, and use these constructs in battle. They can block attacks of different kinds, suffocate enemies, nullify gravity, and much more. When entering environments where humans need life support, her force fields can be an airtight capsule for traveling in places like space or underwater. She can insulate her fields to block heat or sound, including ultrasonic frequencies. Sue has a talent for controlling psionic energy in particular, so she can track energy signatures across distances when disturbing the psionic balance. By emitting low-level force pulses, Sue can detect and sense the movement of objects and people around her, even if she can't see them, as shown in Fantastic Four 415, June 1996. Her powers are believed to draw on the psionic energy from hyperspace, a higher dimension associated with cosmic beings like the Celestials. In fact, the Invisible Woman once defeated a Celestial all by herself. In this storyline, Reed is presumed dead, so Sue steps up as the official leader of the Fantastic Four. In Fantastic Four number 400, May 1995, there is a potentially catastrophic war between Earth and the Celestials happening, and Sue seeks the Watcher Uatu to understand how they can stop it. Nathaniel Richards discovers that Sue's powers are made up of the same substance as the Celestials' armor. Sure enough, enough, when the time comes, Sue is able to not only destroy their armor, but actually defeat a Celestial in battle all by herself. Her full potential remains unknown, with characters like Hyperstorm in Fantastic Four number 409, December 1995, suggesting she's only begun to access the true scope of her abilities. That's really impressive, considering everything Sue can already do. Because of all this, it's fair to say Sue is one of the most powerful Marvel superheroes. Beyond the true extent of Sue's powers and importance in the Fantastic Four, there are also some behind-the-scenes facts about her creation and evolution that most fans don't know. For example, Jillian Kirby, the granddaughter of Jack Kirby, the creator of the character, once shared some insight into her creation on social media. She posted a statement by her father, Neil Kirby, the son of Jack Kirby. It says that Jack Kirby named the character after his daughter Susan, Neil's older sister and Jillian's aunt. Another interesting fun fact about the creation of the Fantastic Four is that each power is connected to one of the four elements. While the Human Torch is obviously channeling fire, many fans don't instantly make the connection between the others and their elements. The Thing is earth, Mr. Fantastic is water, and the Invisible Woman is air. Going into the pages of Marvel Comics, there are also some events that have shaped her evolution that don't get mentioned enough. One of them is Sue's brief period of being the villain Malice during John Byrne's era of Fantastic Four comics. After the miscarriage of her baby, who would have been her and Reed's second child, Sue went on a downward spiral in Fantastic Four number 267, March 1984. This turned her vulnerable to the manipulations of the villain Psycho Man, who pushed her into using her power for evil ends in Fantastic Four number 281, May 1985. Thankfully, Sue's strong will helped her fight the dark brainwashing and leave the Malice identity in the past forever. The Malice storyline is a great way for Byrne to address some issues fans had with Sue's portrayal. In it, Sue is finally able to speak up for herself, with her negative feelings enhanced by the Psycho Man's influence. She's not just an evil version of Sue, this is a moment in which Sue can finally say things she has been carrying with her for a long time. The feeling of being neglected by the Fantastic Four and seen as less powerful for being a woman. The end of this arc is pretty messy. Reed plays into it and acts as sexist as he possibly can to upset Malice. He then literally slaps her out of it. Not cool. John Byrne is definitely one of the people who helped shape Sue into the strong character she became in comparison to her early damsel in distress portrayals. When Byrne took over Fantastic Four comics in the 1980s, Sue Storm finally got the assertive personality she has to this day. He was also the first writer to really play around with her abilities since Jack Kirby. For example, though she first used force fields in Kirby's Fantastic Four, number 22 from October 1963, the Byrne run expanded how she could use them, and Byrne used the Malice storyline he wrote for Sue to justify her transition from Invisible Girl to Invisible Woman in Fantastic Four, number 284, August 1985. It was a moment in Marvel Comics that tapped into all the emotional depth in Sue's traumatic experiences, but most importantly, her strength. Although the tone of the Fantastic Four in the 1980s is still very sexist in comparison to what it later became in more recent runs, it was still interesting how Byrne addressed this dark side of Sue's personality, which isn't evil but misunderstood. Since then, the Malice character has been retconned and portrayed in different ways, but it always remained a part of Sue that haunts and scares her. Diving deeper into the pages of Marvel Comics, there are countless strange scenarios in which we find our favorite characters. What's even stranger is when we meet a version of them from an alternate dimension. There's one alternate Invisible Woman who is fascinating. She first appeared in What If, number 1 from November 1976, and had a fun arc spanning a few issues spread out through almost 2 decades. The backstory of Earth 772's Sue is exactly the same as the one from Earth 616, the main timeline. But their stories begin to differ when Spider-Man asked to join the Fantastic Four. Originally, Spider-Man is turned down by the group, but in this alternate reality, they allow Spider-Man to join and they become the Fantastic Five. One day, the Puppet Master manipulates Namor the Submariner into seducing Sue. She is captured and kept prisoner in Atlantis, with both under the Puppet Master's control. When Sue and Namor are finally freed from the mind control, Sue actually decides she wants to stay with Namor in his kingdom. She remains in love with him, and she wants to quit the Fantastic Five because the inclusion of Spider-Man left her feeling excluded. Namor gives her a device that makes her able to breathe underwater. He warns Sue that the result of using this device would be permanent, but she uses it anyway. Sue and Namor then get married and are crowned king and queen of Atlantis in What If? Number 21, March 1980. Meanwhile, the now Fantastic Four believe she was being manipulated. Reed and Johnny even plan to plant a bomb in Atlantis in retaliation, but Reed disarms the bomb when he finds out that Sue was pregnant with Namor's child. Their son is named Leonard, after Namor's father, but Johnny is not so accepting and won't let his sister go. Well, much to the relief of the Fantastic Four, Sue eventually breaks up with Namor and manages to revert her breathing to be air-based. She finally marries Reed Richards, and the Fantastic Four is once again the Fantastic Five. Sue gets pregnant again, now with Reed's child. The birth is complicated and threatens Sue's life, so the Fantastic Five have to travel into the negative zone to collect the cosmic control rod and use it to save Sue and the baby. This is how Franklin Richards was born on Earth 772, where he is the Nexus being, as shown in What If? 35, January 1992. After this 1992 What If, the team from Earth 772 would only reappear in the Spider-Verse event in 2014, but without Sue. In a devastating plot twist, a supervillain from Earth 001 called Karn kills all members of the team except for the Invisible Woman in Superior Spider-Man number 32, August 2014. Another interesting alternate reality where Sue Storm is much different is Earth 99315, which is a potential future for Earth 616. In that reality, she is Baroness Von Doom. She first appeared in Fantastic Four, Volume 3, number 15 from January 1999. In that story, the Fantastic Four of the Sacred Timeline traveled to her reality, where Doom is a hero. Sue and Victor Von Doom have started a family and rule Latveria together, yet it's later revealed that Valeria, Sue's daughter, is actually the same person as her 616 counterpart. That's because Valeria Richards, the daughter of Mr. Fantastic and the Invisible Woman of Earth 616, was about to die during childbirth, and her brother Franklin subconsciously used his reality warping powers to transport her to Earth 99,315. There she was reborn as Valeria Von Doom to this reality's Invisible Woman and Doctor Doom, as shown in Fantastic Four, Volume 3, number 49, November 2001. Latveria of Earth 99,315 was eventually invaded by the Kree Avengers and other alien attackers in Fantastic Four, Volume 3, number 16, February 1999. And much like Sue from 772, the ultimate fate of the Baroness Von Doom is unknown. As you can see, there's more to the Invisible Woman than meets the eye. Sue has a rich lore in Marvel Comics that goes even beyond all these fun facts we've covered so far. The inclusion of the Fantastic Four in the Marvel Cinematic Universe is going to be an exciting turn in the character's portrayal in adaptations. The Fantastic Four movies produced so far, in which Sue Storm is played by Jessica Alba and Kate Mara, focus on her origin story and life before having children. In an interview with Entertainment Weekly published on April 10th, 2025, we got some fresh insight into what the new Sue Storm will be like directly from Vanessa Kirby. The actress who's playing Sue in the upcoming The Fantastic Four: The First Steps has said she became obsessed with the Malice storyline, and there are tones of that dark side of Sue in the new movie. According to Kirby, Sue won't be the stereotype of a sweet mother. For the first time, we'll meet Sue and Reed's children, or at least their first child, Franklin. Although no official information about who the child is has been revealed yet, it has been confirmed that Sue is pregnant at some point in the movie. It's also assumed that the movie takes place in an alternate dimension and not the Sacred Timeline, since it's a retro-futuristic reality that we still don't know much about. The new Invisible Woman in the MCU can be inspired by some of the alternate versions of Sue we've talked about, or a mix of Sue from 616 with some of them. Another big possibility is that she will be a unique character to the franchise, without a specific comic counterpart. For now, we'll have to wait until the movie comes out on July 25th, 2025. It will be Phase 6 of the MCU, ushering a new chapter in the ongoing franchise-wide saga. Vanessa Kirby is confirmed to be in the cast of Avengers: Doomsday, and will likely also appear in Avengers: Secret Wars. Something else you might not know is that Baroness Von Doom is not the only Sue who got married to Doctor Doom. The actual Sue from 616 married Doom in Battleworld during the 2015 Secret Wars event, when he was God Emperor Doom, so we could potentially potentially see Vanessa Kirby's Sue Storm and Robert Downey Jr.'s Doctor Doom getting married in Avengers: Secret Wars. Now we want to hear from you. What are the most interesting facts about Sue Storm in Marvel Comics in your opinion? What do you expect of the upcoming portrayal of the Invisible Woman in the MCU? Let us know in the comments below, and remember to subscribe. Until next time, thanks for watching CBR.